You got it, bud. Look at this. We're gonna win. What's going on, guys? If you want to support our content and pick up this month's amazing Patreon rewards, you can do so at patreon.com/itresolves. If you're interested in custom playmats and sleeves, visit YourPlaymat.com and use code ItResolves10YP for 10% off your entire purchase. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another historic gameplay video. Today we're actually testing out a deck that is recommended to us by one of our really good Discord members, one of our good friends who is a regular part of these challenge weeks as well, but this time just offered up this deck. BreadedNFried, thank you so much for offering this. I'm really excited to try this one out. I've been practicing with it a little bit, and it certainly can do some really cool things. So if anybody, just as a quick kind of side note, if anybody does have a deck that they'd like us to try, or just in general that they think is interesting, send it over to us. I can't guarantee that we'll always play it, I'll be honest. Sometimes I just have an idea in my head and I lose track and all that stuff, so at my own fault, sometimes we don't get around to it, but I did want to give this one a shot because it's very sick. So this is a very Mardu artifacts based deck. I say Mardu, technically it's really just got the black on the Vault Skirge, and it's got no way to actually play it, other than paying the 2 life, obviously. But that's actually not too big of a deal, because it does have lifelink, and we've got things like All That Glitters, we've got Tempered Steel, we've got Embercleave, we've got all kinds of stuff to kind of buff up the attack here and hopefully gain some life back. And in addition to that, we've just got a slew of little easy, cheap artifacts that can hopefully get in for some very quick damage. Obviously, Ornithopter buffs up the artifact count, is a very good target for an All That Glitters. And then obviously with that Tempered Steel just gets buffed up anyway. Built to Last is in here. Obviously, it can grant Indestructible. And so in a lot of circumstances, it's used more, I would argue, defensively. That being said, though, it's also just a really nice kind of power buff if you need it. So very, very good. Bomat Courier, an amazing card. If you guys have never played with Bomat Courier, it is stunning. Essentially, it's a 1/1 for 1 that comes down, immediately can attack, and then you can pay a red, discard your hand. Every time it attacks, you exile a card underneath it. And then when you pay that red and discard your hand, you put all the cards exiled into your hand. And so it's a great way for mono red or any kind of, early aggressive deck to refill their hand as needed. We do have a few Gingerbrutes here. Hope of Ghirapur, I hope I'm saying that correctly. A 1/1 for 1 with flying, but you can sacrifice it, and until your next turn, target player who's dealt combat damage by the Hope this turn can't cast non-creature spells. And what that ensures is that theoretically we can at least shut down sweepers, things like that. Stonecoil Serpent, obviously just a nice powerful threat. Protection for multicolored is relevant, as well as reach. All That Glitters and the Tempered Steel package we've talked about. Vault Skirge, Steel Overseer, here's a 2 of. I would argue we could buff this up a little bit and play a couple more of them, but this is just an all-star in any artifact deck. Throwing those counters around means a lot in a deck like this, so very, very helpful. Light up the stage to kind of act as a mini Bomat Courier, so to speak, and give us a few extra cards. Showdown of the Skalds, which is a really sweet one. So exile the top 4 cards of your library until the end of the turn. You can play them. Obviously, a lot of the stuff we have in the deck is cheap, and so that's usually pretty easy to just play out all those cards. And then whenever you cast a spell this turn, put a 1/1 target, or 1/1 counter, on target creature you control. So you can buff up some of these evasive threats, hopefully, with that. And then, like I said, Embercleave to finish things off. One thing to note in the lands, other than obviously having a very teched out kind of spread, we do have 1 Blinkmoth Nexus, which BreadedNFried, I appreciate that you did, because this is a very, very good land in my opinion, and being able to basically turn this into a creature just gives you that little bit of longevity as you need it. So regardless, we're going to jump into this one. It's a fun list. Let's see if we can do it. Again, thank you so much for the suggestion. I really do appreciate it. And let's jump right in, guys. It'll be a good time. All right, guys, here we are for game number 1. This is an interesting hand. It is a keepable hand. We're going to have to shock for the Vault Skirge here, but definitely worth a keep. We've got the All That Glitters to kind of power that up. Ooh. All right, well, that might change things. Curious to see what they take here, actually. The Vault Skirge is really our only turn 1 play, so I could arguably see a case for that, albeit it's not the most powerful card in our hand. We'll go ahead and do this, and we will go ahead and shock this out. Chances are they're gonna have removal for us. I mean, it is what it is. It's a black deck. They've already got Thought Seizes. Like, I would not be surprised at all, but I do think it's worth a shot here. So, truthfully, I think the play might just be attacking in here. The reason being, this is a mono black deck, and I don't want to just throw ourselves straight into some removal. I just feel like that's not a good way to play it. And so I'm actually in the camp of, we'll see how this goes, but I'm in the camp of waiting and being able to hold up that build to last as needed here. Okay, perfect. That's very helpful. Let's do this. I'm gonna put All That Glitters on the Vault Skirge, and we're gonna attack the Ashiok here. I really don't like Ashiok. It's generally just a really annoying card to be against, and so I'm gonna try and get it to the point where they at least have to kind of sack it if they want to use it again. It doesn't really shut much down for us. We don't search our library really, so it's not really a huge problem. They're just using it as a mill engine, so if we can turn that slightly off at least, then I'm all for it. But again, here, holding up that build to last is going to be very relevant, I think. Okay, so we're going to throw out the Steel Overseer. We're going to throw out the land, and we're going to attack in here. This is just going to keep... Obviously, we're just moving forward with the damage game plan. We're gaining a bunch of life, so I don't care to block this Solemn by any means. I'm all too happy to let that happen. The only thing I'm worried about is an Extinction Event, truthfully. And there it is. All right. Well, you got it. That's the downside. It's okay, though. They had to exile their own creature to do it, which just means they did not gain value off of it, which is relevant, honestly. I'm going to play the Tempered Steel. Maybe that was a mistake, I don't know, but we'll find out. Let's throw this out for one. Doesn't seem very exciting, but it gets +2/+2 here, and we kind of just need to keep the pressure on. All right, they're gonna do the thing. That makes sense. So I really just hope we draw a creature. That is a creature. I'm into it. Let's do this. And in response to this, we're going to make this indestructible until the end of the turn. That just, if they do have removal, which, I mean, if it was instant speed, they would have been able to play it there, but obviously they didn't. So we attack in. Little worried about what they are going to pull back here, so we'll see. Although they don't have a lot, do they? Okay. They got Ashiok. That's fine. Oh, all right, fair enough. This last 8 damage is going to be a tricky 8 damage. I'm trying to think what we could possibly draw. A Bomat Courier would be pretty sick. Unfortunately, that is not. We'll see. BreadedNFried, I think we're putting together a solid effort here. I just think that we're fizzling out slightly, which is okay. I think that's kind of the norm with a deck like this anyway, so I don't think that's abnormal. We're gonna let that hit first. So we do have lethal next turn, theoretically, which is why I attacked them, not the Ashiok. Okay, they're gonna draw a card, that's fine. Depending on what it is, we might win the game. Or, we might not. Oh, that's interesting. So we do this. Just means they don't kill it. Curious that they didn't exile everything. That would have been way safer, I think. So what they could have done is -3. That would have, I guess, hit their Ashiok, but I feel like that's okay, to be honest. Again, I think we have to go for them. We play the land for sure. And then I think the play is just going to be to... If they target the Bomat Courier, we just sacrifice it, and we draw 2 cards. Which is great. Does this... No, okay, that's fine. There's another Bomat Courier, so we might get this. This is a good game. BreadedNFried, fantastic. Fantastic deck, my friend. I love it. This is so close. They could very easily just kill us. Let's hope they can't. It's the best we can do. Do we do it? Yes, BreadedNFried coming through, my friend. Holy crap, what a game. That was fantastic. All right, let's jump into game 2. All right, guys, and here we are for game number 2. And I like this hand. We've got a couple lands, which really is all we need in general. And I'm gonna go ahead and play this Vault Skirge. I think Vault Skirge is potentially the best turn 1 play for this deck other than Bomat Courier, solely because it does have that life gain aspect, so you can very quickly kind of gain a lot of life and get yourself in a more heads up position. So I like this a lot. We'll give it a shot. We'll see how it goes. Interesting. So I think the play is going to be Steel Overseer here. Kind of want to spread some stuff out a little. I am worried about a sweeper coming down at some point, but what this provides us is a much stronger All That Glitters at some point. Looks like Mill is the game. Yeah. Ugh. Not again. I always hate Mill. All right, so we throw out an Ornithopter, excuse me. We throw out Vault Skirge. Or the All That Glitters, excuse me. We buff, and we go in for it. I mean, we have to be able to beat this deck as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, that's not very easy. So spreading out the board is definitely a strong start. A lot of what they have are going to be like Brazen Borrowers to bounce, which is frustrating when you've got a Steel Overseer on the field because they can bounce stuff that you've put a lot of counters on, or the All That Glitters gets thrown away, which is also bad. But I do think that this sets us up as well as we can expect to deal some massive damage here. So we'll see. I think we attack in with both and see what they do. They could just have like an unsummon. I mean, that would be really unexciting, but they could have it. And I think the play here is going to be to light up the stage. We do want to hit some lands. Unfortunately, we did not, but we did get a Built to Last. So if they've got another Drown in the lock, we can kind of get them. We'll see if that actually pans out that way, but that's a theory. Okay, cool. So that's going to get them ever closer to the number of cards that they need. There we go. That's going to give it to them. Sure. All right. They do see the Built to Last, I believe, so that's not really a hidden card by any means. But I think the play is very simply to attack in here. They may not block. I really hope they do, but we'll see. I mean, we definitely just do that. And then we light up the stage again. So this might hit a land, I really hope. Yeah, okay, cool. That honestly is extraordinarily helpful. And then I'm going to go ahead and pay for the Vault Skirge here. The flying in particular is very relevant, especially with a Tempered Steel in hand where we're going to be able to buff up all of our stuff. So my hope is that we can kind of overpower them in the skies a little bit. Oh, and then they just give up. Yes, BreadedNFried, we are doing well, my friend. Great deck you have built. Great, great deck. Let's go ahead and jump into game 3. All right, guys, here we are for our third and final game. And again, very easy keep. We've got the Vault Skirge. We've also got the All That Glitters. This is pretty much a no-brainer. A little bit worried about what we could be against. I'd like to see an aggro matchup, actually, and it looks like we'll have one. I'm curious to see how this goes, because the removal in the Goblins deck is slightly lackluster, in my opinion. And so what we might be able to do is just go over the top with Vault Skirge and kind of be done with it. It'd be very satisfying to make that work. The only trick is I don't want to pile on too much into one Vault Skirge. I'd like to spread it out just in case, but we'll obviously see how that goes. All right, cool. So, I mean, I think the play is pretty straightforward. I'm just going to go ahead and tag this Vault Skirge here. Next turn, if we draw a land, I would love to be able to play land, play Vault Skirge, play another All That Glitters, and kind of go that route, or just play the Tempered Steel. But I think spreading things out here will be very helpful against a Goblins deck. You kind of always have to keep that in mind. They will spread out, and it will be very devastating at some point, so we need to rely on that wide board as best we can. And there's the land. That's pretty good. So I think it's pretty clear. I think we're just going to do this. I am going to double up on the same one. I think that's going to be the play. This gains us the most amount of life immediately. It also deals the most amount of damage immediately. And I think in this case, we just want to end the game. I think we are in a much better position this turn than they are, but that changes so fast with goblins. It's ridiculous. But I mean, look at this. We've got a 9/9 on turn 3 with flying and lifelink. I mean, that's pretty killer. So you love that. That's really nice. Goblin Matron's a little scary here. Maybe they whiff. I doubt it. The Chieftain. Okay, I mean, that's a good one. It's not the one that I'm worried about. It's not a Muxus, so that's fine. Yeah. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. No blocks. You got it, bud. Look at this. We're gonna win. But you know what? Let's add slight insult to injury. All right, there we go. All right, we did it. Wow. Okay, well, let's talk about the deck. All right, so BreadedNFried, thank you so much again for the submission, my friend. Absolutely fantastic deck. We saw it take down, I believe, all 3 games, which is pretty ridiculous. I think normally when you expect an artifact deck, at least in today's kind of meta game, you expect a slightly different build, albeit I don't think this is too far off from the norm, and saying that you kind of just play a bunch of cheap artifacts and then power them up kind of thing. However, like Tempered Steel as an example, very, very good card. I, at least, and this is just speaking from my experience, but I generally don't see that card played as often as I would maybe expect. I also don't normally see Vault Skirge played as often as I would normally expect, which is insane to me because that card I think is ridiculous. But anyway, all that to say, you have put together a very, very solid aggro artifact list, and I love it. I think it is very, very fun. Obviously, we had some very good fortune in those games. We actually took all 3 down. Like, that's pretty cool. And the fact that we were able to fight through some of, I mean, some big strategies. Dimir Rogues was in there. The mono black mill controlled list. And then, of course, the goblins list. Like, we outpaced goblins. That's pretty sick, to be honest. So a great list, a great deck. Thank you so much again for the submission. Guys, as a reminder, if anybody else has a list that they would like to see us try, just share it with us on Discord. You can reach out directly. That's totally fine. BreadedNFried did that. He just sent us a message, which, again, thank you. I really appreciate. And we gave it a shot, and I love that. So thank you so much. I appreciate every single one of you. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Today might be very full of gameplay because I've got nothing to do today, so we're kind of filling up the time, but I hope that you guys enjoy it. Thank you again so much, and I will see you very soon for some more gameplay videos.